Right, Shalom. All praise to Yahawah,
Yahawah,
bahasham,
bahasham,
Yahawashi,
bahasham,
bahasham,
Ruach
Kudash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well and labor in the word and doctrine. Shalom and in peace, may that be into the elect of the nation of Israel. Coming back to prophesy again, and we're going to go into a little experience that the brother had with a Christian, and then we'll pull some scriptures to cut that bullshit plantation Christian doctrine, man.
Yep.
So if you want to go ahead and explain.
Yeah, so it was just a little break that I had for while I was doing this course, and there was nothing really to do. Just popped out, got some air, just went for a little walk. And then an individual saw me, who he didn't, typical like Hamite type Christianity type dude is kind of vibes he gave me. It was just very annoying. They're very annoying, those type of Hamites and those type of Christianity dudes, really. So when he said what's up, something to that effect, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, yeah, I'm spreading the gospel of Christ. And I was like, okay, well, all right, you believe in the Bible? Then all right, what's up? And then I asked for his name. I don't think he even gave me a real name. It sounded fake as hell. But I gave him a govy, and then after that, just I asked him basic question. What do you think is gonna happen? And this is what pissed me off about this guy. That was as far as I went with him before he tried to answer my question. Like, what the fuck you think I'm gonna ask? That could be anything. So anyway, I asked him, what do you think is gonna happen when when the Messiah comes back? And he said he's gonna come out for judgment. So I said, okay, that's what's up. And I asked him the basic question. Can you get Matthew 15:24? I said, who was the Messiah sent to? And I didn't even know if he even initially answered it. Actually, no. So I believe he just simply said he's coming for the followers of, typical Christianity rhetoric. So I pulled Matthew 15:24.
But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
And Yahawashi made it clear, he was sent unto lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right. So when I read that, of course, he was like, saying another typical thing, which is just, but when he died, okay, now, therefore, because of his death and him being put on the cross and the resurrection, it was for all nations, okay? And then I started to try to speak, but he just interrupts and he's getting a bit annoying. So I say, you know what, just get a scripture out, just prove things. He said, yeah, I will. He started looking, and he pulled out Romans. I believe it was Romans 1 in was it 16 or was it 26? When he goes into Jude first.
Let me search. So, Romans 1 and 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Hamashiach, for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek.
Okay. You know what's funny? That reminds me of as well was the time when we did camp together, and that guy came up with a sign that said that. Oh, he had a sign, and he also said that.
It was Ecclesiastes 12? Seek the Lord in your youth. My man's about 85.
And
and recently repented. But I just wanted to make a comment on this. Why does it say to the Jew first? If you were to go into a job and they started serving the Elamites before they were serving the Hamites, you're gonna be mad. Sorry, what's this? I don't know what that is. I think I clicked the ad. It's lucky. Yeah, so if they started serving the Elamites, they're giving the Indian man a drink before the Hamite, you're gonna say, what the fuck? So what does it mean to the Jew first, then to the Greek?
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I had to keep trying to make him get in his head, which he wasn't getting, of course. I was saying, the Jew is referring to the southern kingdom, all right? And he said that, people never call themselves Jews or whatever. I said, well, what do you mean? By the English word? Obviously, I was saying, what though? I initially made it clear, obviously they didn't say in the English word. But yes, they certainly did. They were of the southern kingdom, so they will call themselves of the house of Judah. That's what they referred to.
We also had them that were in the land that were of the northern kingdom, which is the kingdom of Israel, that were following the ways of Judea. So They were also considered Jews. For example, Anna from the tribe of Asher in Luke 2 and 36. She was around the Jewry. So, they wouldn't call her anything other than a Jew, because she was doing the customs, the laws, the practices, because a lot of the people in the land were, the southern kingdom.
Right. Because, ultimately she was of the northern tribes, but of the southern kingdom,
around them.
Right.
So this is the word. Well, here my man say it.
Strong's G 2453. Eudios. Eudios.
Judaios, Jewish, belonging to the Jewish nation. What does that mean? Judaic, belonging to the Judaic nation, pursuant to, like the brother said, the kingdom of Judah, the southern kingdom, or the tribe itself, Judah, Yahawah. And then it says the second definition, Jewish as respects to birth, origin, religion.
I'm glad it said it that way, because he started, tap dancing around it, and going into, at least towards the end of that conversation, he was trying to bring out, the spiritual. This, you can basically, it's you're joined as a like as if you're a Jew because you follow the commandments and whatnot. Is what he claimed.
Strong's G.
Oops.
Or rather, not even following the commandments. I'm making it seem like he actually had some, because he in his head he literally said it. He literally said it.
He literally said it.
Not to you don't have to keep the commandments, basically, as in you don't have to do anything pertaining to the Jews' commandments. All right, roughly just paraphrasing him. But one of the things I said to him, all right, well then, why does it say Greek? Is every Gentile a Greek? He said, well, Greeks are Gentiles. I said, well, is every Gentile a Greek?
Strong's G 1672. Hellene. Hellene.
Right, that's the word for Greek. That's the Greek word Hellene. And what does that mean?
A Greek, either by nationality, whether a native of the mainland or of the Greek islands or colonies.
And when if it's by nationality, that's still very vague, because there's not a man called Greek or Hellene. Go ahead.
Hellene the generous. Second definition, in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations not Jews that made the language, customs, and learning of the Greeks their own. The primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship.
Okay, there you are. So basically, it relates to the customs, to really simply put it, right? So that's why Paul is saying that, all right? I told the individual, the reason why is because when the Greeks were ruling, when Alexander the Greek, the freak, okay, and I ain't talking about Antinokupo, but when Alexander the Greek had conquered the known world, right? That whole place that he conquered, that was under Hellene rulership. So therefore, they were following the customs. So Hellenization, that was a very broad thing among different lands, man.
And to give Alexander credit, to be honest, he didn't really ramp it up. It was Antiochus Epiphanes,
right,
which was one of his 4 generals that really went Ham, Shem, and Edom upon us, man. Right, went ham hard as a motherfucker. Right, went hard, and he was anyone that was circumcised. They were making them uncircumcised. So they would actually pull. I'm not going to go into the mechanisms, but they would do that.
Yep.
They were killing women that had circumcised their children. They're ripping bellies out of wombs. And this is the same sort of shit that they did to us in hardcore slavery.
Yep.
Why? Because of the same fucking devil.
And now our people, our women do that willful anyway.
Yeah.
Doing all type of fucking
Passing
abominable
through the fire onto
Yep.
Molech.
the form of really witchcraft, man, sorcery,
Absolutely.
idolatry, man.
Because that's how they used to worship and reverence their gods, those idols. They would give human sacrifices.
Right. All types of fucking wicked stuff, man. Vessels of dishonor. That's what. That's
What Azan put in the chat the other day.
which one?
Even do you agree with the A word, abot shun, for a child after birth?
Oh,
They
yeah.
said,
There you go.
whenever, it's the mother's right to choose.
Mother's right to
And they said,
choose.
all right, so 2 years after birth,
There
it's
you
the
go.
mother's right to choose.
I almost forgot about that one. Tawada for bringing that up.
Just gonna close this.
That's
blue.
outrageous, man. Imagine believing that. Imagine actually believing that. It's a mother's right to choose. And hey, that's just what she's really trying to say. Is because she's the woman, right? Because they have this Queen of Heaven worship, fucking ideology up in this fucking wicked world. As you say, the woman she of course she gets to choose. Why shouldn't she? She's a woman. That is the very deep inward thought. With all these fucking
Thoughts.
bugged out,
The thoughts of the thoughts, man.
yeah, man. These little fucking Eves, man. They're one of the biggest advocates for all the wickedness that Eve pushes out. You wanna bring this up?
So 2 Maccabees 6 and verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
And there was no point bringing that out to him because he's gonna be what's second Maccabees? I don't know what this book is. Like he's not gonna listen, man. But there you go. You can see it was unlawful for them to call themselves to not call himself a Greek. Basically, they had to be a Greek. They had to follow the customs. You couldn't. They didn't want us to keep our customs, man.
Because if you're in the land, which we did get dispersed eventually, of Greece, you're not allowed to call yourself a Jew. What are you going to call yourself? A Greek?
Right.
You know, even in our land, there was them that wanted to call themselves Antiochans, them of Jerusalem. Let me find that, because they wanted to call themselves, African American. We brought out at camp, or a video we did. Leo or Scipio Africanus, we can't remember which one. One of these Africanus, and you had Amerigo Vespucci. That's where you get those two terms.
And the more you get down into the scriptures as well, right, you start to realize that our people, man, that they just don't. It's just not in them, all right, to understand. Okay, not to understand righteousness, and understand, and to really dive in to try get understanding of just how much of an influence he has had since he's thought for that was the son. How much he's had an influence on the earth, okay, his doctrines, ideologies, and how much he's crept into people's minds and polluted it, man. All right, this is like a reason, man, the God of this world. I'll get that actually. Let's just get that, man. This is the book of Saint. Want to get that first? Oh yeah, of course. Sorry.
It's second Maccabees 4:9. Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise, which is known as a gymnasium, going back to the root gymnos, which means naked, because they would literally train naked. It'll tell you on the etoms. Right. Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise and for the training up of the youth in the fashions of the heathen. What does it tell you in Proverbs 22:6? Train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. Right. So this was part of their devilishness. If you teach a child this from young, he's not going to depart from that. And then he's going to teach his children that. So they were really building a culture, within a culture. And for the training up of the youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochans. Right, so you're not Israelites. You don't descend from, Jacob. You descend from Antioch, is basically what you're saying. So you are of your father, the devil, which is what Yahawashi said to certain wicked Israelites.
Here you are. 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 4. I'll start at verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. Right. And the God of this world is referring to Esau, man, because he is a judge and ruler of power of this world.
He beareth not the sword in vain.
Here you are. I say, he is the God of this world. Forgive me. He is the power who rules over this earth and all these other nations. They're giving reverence to him by following after him, and they're lifting up his kingdom, to then take part and to get a part of, the merchandise, okay, and just to get all the abundance that they desire, okay, which is really all done, basically it's all done in a way of wickedness, man, because everything pertaining to the currency system, the way all the banks, the way that it just works, right, the whole system, everything that is incorporated to get all these things, it is all it's all to do with making sure that these elites, they can just sit in all the fatness of the earth, okay, and even the low of E, they don't do such, they don't have it like that, okay. Really, there's a higher up elites that really got it like that, and a lot of these so-called celebrities, they're giving up, okay, into his hands, because they have actually got like a pact with him, man. Alright, they do what he says. They do what the elites say. They do what all these higher ups of Amalek, the small hats and whatnot. They do what they say, and then they can get little so-called riches. They're considered rich, but they really, in the bigger picture, is they're really not, man. Alright, 2 Corinthians 4 and 4. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. Alright, that's what he's doing right now. He's blinding them. He's putting a covering over their eyes, man. Alright, so they can't really see what's going on. Okay, but really, the earth is indeed in the hands of the wicked right now, and we're gonna see their fall, and their fall will be great, man. and they're gonna come down with great wrath because they're gonna see that their kingdom isn't in this how do I say it? Isn't in this perpetual
Bound by
stability.
time.
It is bound by time, but they're gonna see that it is not it's no longer just going through just a little monotonous pattern of people just feeling all good and happy no matter what the fuck's going around, and just enjoying the bread in circuses, okay, and taking their breadcrumbs and just living happily with it and not considering what the fuck is actually really going on, man, because they're blinded.
What's up?
You got some? All right. Well, that was all I had on this matter. He didn't really bring anything. He didn't bring out anything else. In regards to the when I started questioning, all right, so you're saying that everybody can come into the can basically come to the Lord, all right. I asked him who are the promises and the covenants for, and then brought Romans 9. Let's bring up Romans 9, might as well. All right, this is some milk you should know about it. Again, Paul said this, right? He wanted to go to Romans 1. What did Paul say in Romans 9? And when was this? Was this before the Messiah had to be a sacrifice for the nation of Yahawah? Was this before? Was this after?
Because he's saying afterwards it was open up to all these other heathen.
Right.
Which it doesn't say that. It doesn't say Hamites. It doesn't say Elamites. What about the poor little Moabites? What happened to them? It's just the Israelites. Not all of the Israelites, just the southern kingdom and some fucking Greeks in togas. What happened to you Hamites, man? Romans 9 verse 3 through 5. For I could wish it myself for a curse from Hamashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, who is overall Most High blessed forever. Amen.
Yep. All right. So, as we get more into the scriptures, the more and more we just get into these precepts, we see that there's no way you could possibly try to fit in the other nations for the promises, man. You just can't do you just can't do it, man. The scriptures make it very clear, man. The covenants, promises, the glory, okay. Hey, man, being heirs with Yahawashi, being kings and priests, it's all relates back to the nation of Israel. So these people they just want to hear the smooth things that Christianity bring out, even though it's not truth, man. Therefore, it's not righteous.
What did Peter say? You're on a holy genos, where genos goes back to race, lineage, tribe, stock, breed.
Exactly.
So 2 Ezra 3:36. Thou shalt find that Israel by name hath kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. This is 1 Maccabees chapter 4, and we'll start at verse 8. Then said Judas to the men that were with him. That made sense in my Benjamite mind, but not the English mind. Then said Judas to the men that were with him, Fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. Now therefore let us cry unto the heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face, so that all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel.
There you go. And then that's
a cut.
that is a cut, but it certainly is also some of that we see in Joshua as well. Actually, we see in the scriptures that it's a very important thing. Our deliverance from Egypt, it's brought out quite a lot. You usually see it where it says, "I am the Lord your God that brought you out of the land of Egypt."
Out of the house of bondage.
Yep, out of the house of bondage. That's what it's synonymous with. That's why America is likened unto spiritual Egypt, man, and spiritual Sodom.
Because that was our first captivity. This new Egypt is our last captivity.
There you go.
We're not going into Arabia, Hebrew.
Right. They're all following after the same doctrine. Ultimately, man, it all goes back to Egypt. That's known as the Babylonian Kemetic mystery school system. All right, and that's Christianity is just a little warped version of it, man.
Oh yeah, a lot of the Babylonian deities they crossover as well.
Yeah,
you had Egypt, then you had Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Media Persia, Greece, Rome, and a lot of them people just took gods from before them. Especially E.
Yeah, of course.
He's not the creator of anything. He's the creator of destruction.
It all goes back to Egypt, no matter which way you look at it.
They say all roads lead to Rome. Or what was the first Rome? Where did Rome get their inspiration from?
There you are.
Ancient Egypt.
There you are. So it's all just
Chemet.
a little yeah, man, just copying each other basically, just doing the same thing, man, as it was before, man. And you know, this guy he couldn't handle the whole thing about lineage. I said when you bring these things out, you don't want to hear it. I said, look, it says you know,
says
it clearly
kush.
says flesh, man. So saying, well, that flesh that's going into, what do you say, natural birth? I said, yeah, natural birth. That's what the scriptures go. I guess because people will say it talking about, you know, being a spiritual Israelite, basically is what they're trying to say.
I remember one
spiritual Jew.
when I went up to not the female in fact it was the one you made reference to, the Zoom call, but it's actually in person. So this brother I saw out when I was preaching, and I had no guidance, I had no elders, I didn't know what's going on. So anyway, I've gone to link him at his church and see. I thought it'd be like we'd sit down and do some debate. We were both in a debate spirit back then. So anyway, my setup question was, okay, so Abraham our father, the Romans, they had Abraham as a father. Was that a spiritual father or was that a flesh father? Well, of course it is a spiritual father, of course. So I said, oh, okay, brother. Romans 4:1. What should we say then, that Abraham our father has pertained to the flesh hath found? Okay, yes, because you had certain people, Abraham is a father of many nations. So you had many people. What? So Romans is a multi-ethnic church and they all just happened to descend from Abraham. There was no Hamites around. Yeah, there was no one that didn't come out of Abraham around. Come on, man.
And if you want to bring out, if that dude wanted to bring out Romans, man, then did this guy? Hold on, let's get it, man. This is
You should have tapped out on Romans.
Just look. There you go. This is the book of Romans, chapter 1. I'll start at verse 6. Among whom are ye also the called of Yahawashi Hamashayach, to all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, called to be saints.
Ooh-wee.
Grace to you and peace from the Most High, our Father, and the Lord Yahawashi Hamashayach. So, the word saints, man, we already.
It's not talking about little fat baby cherubim, so called. Right, little fat Edomite babies, man.
Yep.
That's what when you think of saint, you think of that. You think of Caesar. You think of these Valhalla Viking looking ass. They are not the people of the Lord, man. Although you're gonna have people scattered around, and the Vikings, how they depict them. Who's to say that they look like that? All nations were of a dark skin before Eve started mingling themselves.
Yep. This is Psalm 50:5. It says, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice."
What was the greatest sacrifice historically? Yahawashi HaMashiach.
Yep. Right. And we should be like, if you know any basics of the scriptures, you should know that's referring to the nation of Israel, man. So really,
not the nation of Islam.
And this is the book of Psalm 148 in verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people and the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. Look, it says even a people near unto him. Right.
This is Psalm 50,
Psalm 50 again. Right.
The mighty power, I read it verbatim, the mighty God, even the Lord, hath spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof.
So it says the mighty God, even the Lord, even Yahawah, it says there, because the word even actually means indeed, right? People don't use it the way it was etymologically, as our brother Mashar is about to bring out.
Because you have to remember, we're reading from 1611, a book that came out in 1611.
Yep.
Maybe it was redacted or readapted in 1769, but even that is still a far, an ancient tongue unto us. It's not ancient, but unto us it's like ancient.
And what really changed was the spelling, That was the thing that changed in 1769. You get 1611, what you're going to see is spelling differences. And there were corrections made, because back in the days, they didn't have like easy printing publisher like companies the same way. So when there was a mistake, it just had to be in the public, just had to deal with it basically. Go ahead.
I'll read this. I don't know if it's got what we look for.
Okay.
Even, adjective, Old English, effen, level, also equal like calm, harmonious, equally, quite, fully, namely, from Proto-Germanic ebna. It says from Old Frisian, even, which means level, plain, smooth. The adverb is Old English effle, exactly, just, likewise.
Okay, there you go. That helps as well.
We'll stop reading.
Something is equal, I guess it does go into being level, right? So, likewise, the children of Israel would still be equally children of Israel. All right, the saints are the children of Israel, man. It's simple and plain in the scriptures. Of course, they're gonna have to deny that because it's a very big part of the doctrine to just say that Gentiles are only referring to the other nations. I mean, I asked that person, "No, can an Israelite be referred to as a Gentile?" He said, "No." All right, but a Gentile just means a stranger and a foreigner. Can an Israelite not be a stranger and a foreigner? And then,
What did Moses call his son? Gershom. Garsham, which means what? Stranger name. And it was Abraham himself said, I've been a stranger in a strange land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you have to make it fit, man.
And again, Ephesians 2 was something I wanted to get out, but of course, it wasn't very flowing. It was a flowing one with that guy. Ephesians 2:12, that at that time you were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope and without the Most High in the world. But now in Hamashiach, Yahawashi, ye, who sometimes were afar off, are made nigh by the blood of the Messiah. Alright, so as the scriptures clearly say, man, through the blood of the Messiah are these individuals that he's speaking to in Ephesus. And by the way, these people, if you go to verse 1, are indeed saints. Alright? Let's go verse 1. Paul, an apostle of Yahawashi Hamashiach, by the will of the Most High, to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Hamashiach, Yahawashi. And then, when you go back to verse 12, it said that at that time you were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth, right? The civil affairs, the word is politeia, where you get the word politics from, rather.
Police.
Yep, and police. And then again, it says strangers from the covenants. But then they were made nigh by the blood, therefore they were Israelites, man. Because the blood was shed for Israel, right? The covenants pertain to Israel. So at one point, we were strangers, all right? We were like Gentiles. But then, of course, through the blessings of Yahweh, bahasham, Yahawashi, we then came to the truth, okay? But yeah, that pretty much wrapped up my conversation with that individual, because she tried to go to John 4 and talk about the Samaritan woman. I think he even tried to, I don't know if he made some up. I don't really recall exactly what he was trying to say. So I think he's trying to say that the woman said that Abraham was our father. No, our father Jacob was referring to the Samaritan woman saying that she was an Israelite. But he didn't really have it like that. He couldn't even answer what a Jew was. I was trying to say so it was, do you agree that a Jew is the southern kingdom? And he wasn't trying to hear it, so we just parted ways, man.
No, man.
Yeah, man. But anyway, this is just a quick hit. I don't want to say this video was edifying. We want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rachak, Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well and labor in this word and doctrine. Shalom, barakat, lahabachiyat, hagawiyah, yasharala. Meaning peace and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.
Shalom.